Joe Rogan snaps after realizing he's interviewing a Mossad agent. Shout out to Poetic Flacco, man. I ain't gonna front. We ain't gonna do too much jaw japping. We gonna get right into it. This is crazy.
Joe Rogan gets furious after realizing his guest is compromised in real time.
I, like a lot of other people, had assumed that someone murdered him. But you start looking at the evidence for that, look, maybe there more will come out. And even this last few days, there's some new things that people point to, but they actually are not actually evidence of it.
You might not understand now, but you will understand by the end of this video. Buddy is 100% an asset in my opinion. 100%, bro. It doesn't make sense. His opinion has changed so drastically. Somebody had to step in, offer him a bag, bro. Buddy used to be one of the most pro. Epstein didn't do this to himself. They took out Epstein to protect their secrets. Epstein was COINTELPRO. He was a spy. That used to be his public stance. They came in, threw a bag at him, in my opinion, and now his stance has completely changed.
They said, you know, Epstein's brother's attorney or Epstein's brother's examiner said that that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that, I mean, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay, well.
I mean,
it means that it's very suspicious that a correction officer, a federal correction officer, would deposit a large amount of money just out of the blue while being responsible for one of the most high-class, high-profile inmates in the federal system. That's what it means.
She also Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay, but
it's like, let me.
Oh, that all of that is totally circumstantial. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, why are you dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you're going to pay,
dismissing it. I'm saying,
but hold on, you are. Yeah. But hold on, you are, because if you do have a guard,
yeah, Joe,
and all of a sudden this guard acquires several payments. She made several deposits. One of them was $5,000 just 10 days before he died, and then the cameras are cut. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
She made several deposits. I only heard about the one for $5,000. But if she made several deposits, that means more than likely she got a large sum of money, and they informed her when she go to deposit the money to break it up into increments. That would make sense.
Then they mysteriously don't pay attention to the cell of one of the most important defendants of any case, any gigantic public case involving enormously famous public figures.
That is true also. According to the quote-unquote reports, both officers fell asleep. Both officers fell asleep during the time that he allegedly committed, he allegedly took his life. So let me say this, right? Let me move this out the way. As somebody who is a former city correction officer, I'm going to be very transparent, and then we'll get back to the video. Officers are oftentimes very negligent. That is true. Officers fall asleep on posts. That is very true. I don't care if you're a city correction officer, state correction officer, or federal correction officer. Officers a lot of times sleep on the job. Why? Because for the most part, many officers do a lot of overtime. So, we used to be tired. But at no time would you ever walk on the post as a supervisor, maybe the captain or the dep or whatever, who makes their tours, who's responsible for making their tours to check different housing areas throughout the tour, at no time will a supervisor or anyone walk and make a tour in a specific housing area and both officers are asleep. I can guarantee you that does not happen. So for them to say that during the time he was unalived, he took his own life, whatever the case may be, for them to say, well, the camera wasn't working at that time and both officers were asleep. That is extremely, extremely unrare, almost to the point of an impossibility.
Him having a difference in opinion isn't even the real issue here. Joe Rogan gets frustrated once Joe Rogan realized this dude is arguing in bad faith. A, it's not even clear if he truly believes what he's saying. Two, he omits certain things out on purpose so it looks the other way. And if you're somebody who truly cares about the truth, if you're somebody who's not bought out, if you're somebody who has no ulterior motive, if you aren't being paid to spew this narrative, then why are you leaving things out on purpose and then admitting you knew it and you left it out on purpose? Like, that's where Joe Rogan got really frustrated at. Now, listen, man, if you're dumb enough to think that Epstein did this to himself, then, you know, I just consider you a nincompoop and idiot and then move on.
Yeah.
But I look at you a little crazy and I get really upset as well. Once I realize you're saying things even you don't believe and you're coming across as really compromised.
Right. And that's the prime example of somebody insulting your intelligence. Me personally, I can't stand that. Like that infuriates me with a passion. For somebody to blatantly insult my intelligence, like, I know better, bro. Like, you're not that swift. You're not that quick on your feet where you can just come in here and just say anything that we both know for the most part you don't believe and I damn sure don't believe.
Every topic they touched on, this dude just came across as an absolute asset. On Epstein, on Trump, on Iran, everything. There's not a subject they touched on where dude didn't come across as a freaking agent.
And then this guy hangs himself while he's on suicide watch?
Now remember, he tried to commit suicide.
I understand, but why are you not letting me finish what I'm saying?
Sorry.
He's not letting you finish because you're catching on in real time, right? And he's getting frustrated because he wants to rush through his whole spiel about what happened. He just wants you to swallow it. No freaky. He just wants you to swallow it. No chaser.
Because that alone is weird. That alone is weird. That the cameras are cut, that there's no video of it.
Right.
The whole thing is weird. You don't think it's weird?
Well,
you don't think it's weird that this guy, that he just finds a way to hang himself in this cage?
I thought I had that same story. I was like, the cameras are cut, the security guards are asleep.
All those things are true.
All those things are true. It's also true that the cameras went out a long time before that night. It didn't just go out that night before. Security guards fall asleep at night all the time.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I just went over that. See, these guys, first of all, for him to call them security guards, that just tells you how in tune he is with the correctional system. They're correction officers, federal correction officers, right? But whatever, I'm just playing word schematics right now. But again, he's trying too hard. Anytime somebody tries this hard to like get their point across and like try to pull you over to their side, they have to be compromised. Especially if prior to this interview, he was on a totally other side of things. That makes no sense, bro. You know it makes no sense. But again, to Flacco's earlier point, you have to be compromised. For you to be going this hard, you gotta be, you're paid for.
He attempted suicide, I believe 18 days before.
18 days before, he said that his roommate tried to kill him. Did you know that? Do you know his roommate was a cop that had killed 4 people?
There's a big difference between suicide and attempted murder.
Contract killings? His cop roommate, his cellmate, was a murderer. He was a guy who was a drug-dealing cop who had killed 4 people in contract killings. And that was a jailmate. And 18 days before, he said that guy tried to kill him.
But he said
that guy right there, Now, do you think it's just happenstance? They just happen to put Epstein in the same cell with a guy who has no problem taking someone's life? That's coincidental? Come on, bro.
That's his.
But is there any
look
doubt
at
that
that
he-
guy?
Yeah.
That is his cellmate. Why would you put a guy who's one of the most high-profile defendants in any case ever in a cell with a hired killer who's a giant gorilla, like this huge, jacked Italian guy?
Right.
But he
Why
wasn't in the cell with him that night. He was by himself in the
was
cell
the
that night.
guy who 18 days before Epstein said tried to kill him.
But Epstein tried to kill himself.
Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell. They labeled it as an attempted self-deletion. That's what they posted. However, when Epstein came back to his senses, he said, I didn't try to take my own life. No. Bro, I'm not having mental health issues. No. My cellmate, who they put me in, who's the hired killer, he tried to murder me. That's why I was unresponsive. He did it to me. What you talking about? But the guest is aware of this. The guest is aware that Epstein said this. He's aware of the developments, but he intentionally omits everything and tries to stick to the original story because it makes his narrative look better. It
Right.
makes whatever narrative he's being paid to spew, it makes it look better. And Joe gets really angry because like, hold on. If you knew about Epstein saying this dude in his cell did it, then why did you intentionally omit it? Then why are you saying that Epstein tried to take his own life and self-delete himself 18 days before when?
Because he's trying to recreate the narrative, right? He's trying to refurbish the narrative that he first believed himself, that he first presented himself. Let me try to remix this shit. And let me see if Joe Rogan is going to go for it. He's not going for it, right? Joe Rogan is slowly but surely starting to understand that the more he tries to stay on the side of Trump and Epstein and everything that they feed him, the more he looks like a fool. And it won't pan well for his future in podcasting, right? Like it's slowly but surely is chipping away at his brand. Joe Rogan is not slow. He's not stupid. He understands that the more he omits and tries to ignore the obvious, it's slowly but surely chipping away at his brand as one of the most popular podcasters in the world. And he's going to lose in the end.
18 days before, that's the incident that Epstein lived through, and Epstein gave the real account of what took place. Dude, instead of admitting, yeah, okay, maybe it wasn't a self-deletion, maybe somebody did try to murder Epstein 18 days prior, dude then throws out this theory that Epstein is actually lying about this dude trying to murder him.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, right?
I don't know if I've never seen him say it, but I do know that he said that guy tried to kill him.
Right.
And they found him unresponsive 18 days before. He said that guy tried to kill him.
And couldn't he have lied about
that guy was
that?
trying to get money.
Couldn't he have lied about that?
Video outside cell during Jeffrey Epstein's first suicide attempt no longer exists. How weird. Yeah, why would he lie about that? He's in
Because he doesn't want to have
cell
because he doesn't want to
with
have a
guy
roommate.
who he's already saying this guy's trying to extort him.
Yeah.
He's already saying this guy's trying to get money from him. And this guy is a known killer. He's killed 4 people in contract killings. How did you not know about that?
I will say it's
But
possible.
hold on. How did you not know about that?
He knew about it. He knew about it, Joe. He just doesn't want to admit it. He's trying to spin it. Again, to the introduction of the video. He is potentially a Mossad agent, so he knows everything that he's saying, and he knows how much bullshit it is. He knows.
I did know about that.
You knew about the guy being a contract killer that was his cellmate?
Yeah, I knew that story, but I mean, he didn't have a cellmate at the night of his death, right? That was one of the mistakes they made, is that because he was supposed to be on suicide watch.
Just because he didn't have a cellmate, it doesn't mean that someone didn't go in his cell and take his life. Like, come on, bro. This is like, you're trying too hard. And him not having a cellmate and the theory that someone took his life coincides with the fact that there was a small part of the video recording that was tampered with, that was missing. It doesn't take that long to open the cell and let somebody in. Not at all. It doesn't even take 10 seconds. And I'm not sure. Matter of fact, it doesn't even take a whole minute. And if I'm not mistaken, there was like a whole minute missing from the video of surveillance that night. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please.
He was supposed to have a cellmate, didn't have a cellmate. I think that, look...
I don't know, but 18 days before he did have a cellmate, and 18 days before he said that guy tried to kill him.
But 18 days before he tried to commit suicide. That's my understanding.
I don't know if that's true, though.
Joe Rogan is just an idiot. Dude is not naive.
Right.
Dude knows they're talking about the same incident.
Right.
Buddy.
18 days before he tried to kill himself. No, 18 days before someone tried to kill him. Bruh.
Knows what the reports are. The report came out initially when Epstein was still unresponsive. The reports came out, Epstein tried to take his own life. But then when Epstein came back to his senses, Epstein says, no, that's not true. Buddy tried to murder me. This absolute agent, this asset, he's not dumb. He realized, but he's playing on Joe Rogan uninformedness or Joe Rogan naiveness.
Right.
So he says, yeah, I heard that story. Yeah, I know about the dude who tried to murder Epstein in a cell. But Epstein also tried to commit. No, those two things cannot be true. They're not mutually exclusive. No. If you believe that Epstein tried to self-delete himself 18 days prior, then you don't believe what Epstein says, right? Then like you don't believe that Epstein actually almost got murdered by his cellmate. Right. But you can't believe those two things are true.
Right. It's either one or the other. This is not a situation where both things can be true. 18 days prior, he tried to kill himself and someone tried to kill him.
Bruh.
No.
As he tried to pass off as if there were two different incidents, were there or not. They're the same incident.
Right.
They're the same incident. The first report was Epstein tried to self-delete. And then Epstein clarified the record and said, no, my cellmate tried to murder me. So then once Joe Rogan like catches on and realizes, oh no, these are the same incident we're talking about.
Right.
Buddy then switches to he believes that Epstein lied and the cellmate was not trying to murder him.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know why they would put him in jail with a contract killer.
Well, I mean, how many, who's in that jail? Aren't the people in that jail pretty rough?
His cellmate is a contract killer. Why would he be in a cell with a cop who's a contract killer?
I mean, aren't there a lot of
the night Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him. New documents revealed Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him in an incident before his death.
Yeah, but we don't.
Okay, but
bro, you gotta chill, homie. This is bad.
We don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is tight. Joe Rogan is tight, man, and I understand, yo. I get the same way when people try to insult my intelligence, as if I can't read and I can't disseminate information. Like, don't do that shit, yo.
Why are you dismissing it, though?
I'm not dismissing it, Joe. Look, maybe more evidence will come out. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the evidence we have.
You're looking to dismiss it.
No, I'm saying I was confident it was a homicide, and now I'm not.
Were you aware of this?
Yeah, of course, all that stuff.
You were aware that he tried to kill him?
Of course.
You were aware?
He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying!
Yeah, I'm aware that he said that.
Well, how come you never brought it up before? You seemed shocked when I brought it up.
Well, because my understanding is it was a suicide attempt 18 days before.
Okay, but if
how could your understanding me? Oh my gosh! How could your understanding be that it was a suicide attempt before? But you just said you was aware of the information Joe Rogan just played for you. Let me rewind this shit a little bit, man. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all help me out. Please help me out. What are you talking about, dude?
I mean, I was confident it was a homicide, and now I'm not.
Were you aware of this?
Yeah, of course, all that stuff.
You were aware that he tried to kill him?
Of course.
You were aware that he said
that he said that.
Well, how come you never brought it up before? You seemed shocked when I brought it up.
Well, because my understanding is it was a suicide attempt 18 days before.
Okay, but if he said this...
Your understanding was that it was a suicide attempt before, but you was also aware that Jeffrey Epstein, when he came back from the hospital or whatever, he said that his cellmate tried to take his life. So you was aware of both situations you got all the information and you still decide to say, well, he's lying? Like, what?
This guy tried to kill him 18 days before. Why didn't you take that into consideration?
Right.
No, it is. I mean, I'm just saying that
But
was
it doesn't
all. That was
seem
part
like,
of. No,
but
when I
it doesn't
go,
seem like you
yeah.
took it into consideration
No,
at all, and you're looking to dismiss
I
it.
didn't. No,
Facts.
my view earlier was that it was a homicide because the hyoid bone doesn't break when you have hangings. He said he didn't want to commit suicide. The video went out. The security guards are asleep. I mean, there was a huge investigation of this by the Inspector General. So the number of people that would have had to been involved in this conspiracy and cover-up is very large, and it's a large number of people who are in this job to be do-gooders. And so I'm very.
There's a large number of people who's in this job to be do-gooders. How did you calculate that? What type of math you used to get that answer?
I mean, maybe there will.
Okay,
so maybe there was some evidence that
they're
will
not
come
in
out.
the job to be.
Oh yeah, they are.
Sometime.
Bro, no, they're not. No, they're not. Again, let's rewind a little bit. I am a former correction officer for the New York City Department of Corrections, which is not too far off as far as protocol and working habits. It's not too far off from a federal correction officer. Nobody joins that job, takes that job, or pursues that career path to so-called be do-gooders. Nobody.
Bruh.
People take the job to get paid, just like any other position of employment. You want to get paid. You want financial security, right? You're not taking a job to save the world and to rehabilitate inmates. That is not your mission. Your mission is to get your money, do your 8 or 16, and get the fuck up out of there. That's it. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's reaching, but obviously he's making Joe Rogan very mad because, again, I can relate. Do not insult my intelligence, please.
They're in the job to be do-gooders. Sometimes they're influenced by very powerful figures that want a
Facts.
particular result. Does that not happen?
But we underestimate.
But hold on a second.
Yeah.
Does that not
Of
happen
course,
in the
of
real
course,
world?
of
It
course,
does,
yeah.
right? And wouldn't you imagine if you're dealing with multiple billionaires that may be compromised by the evidence that this guy's going to relay in a trial, that would be one of the times that they would want to exert that kind of influence?
It's possible, and like I said, in our
It's
piece
possible.
we wrote, it's possible.
Of course he didn't take that into consideration. He didn't take it into consideration because the facts would debunk his script.
Facts.
The script they gave him is, listen, man, you got to come on this folks podcast and you got to tell the world that you believe that Epstein self-deleted himself.
And why would you go on Joe Rogan's podcast? Because he has one of the biggest podcasts in the world, right? Joe Rogan has one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's friends with Trump. So it's the perfect platform for you to relay this type of bullshit. Perfect.
And you were somebody who believed the conspiracy theories before, but when you looked at the facts changed your mind. All right, bro, stop it, man. Once you insert the facts, his back was against the wall. You realize that, right? His back is against the wall right now.
He's squirming.
Now, these dudes, the reason why they will pay a guy like this who used to be on the opposite end of the spectrum is because it gives them more legitimacy. Hey, guys, I was not a part of the Matrix in the swamp. I used to believe this conspiracy theory, but then once I did the facts and the research told me that Epstein actually self-deleted himself, huh?
Everybody smarter than a fifth grader. Everybody smarter than a fifth grader. That is the most interesting aspect to this whole new wave of social media and, influencers who get on these platforms, and everybody's smarter than a fifth grader, bro.
How does like that make sense? But he's really compromised because the minute Joe Rogan pushes him, and the minute Joe Rogan has him up against the wall, now all of a sudden, hey, I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he was murdered or he did it. I'm just saying I used to think this, but now I don't know. I'm waiting for the facts. Come on.
He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying!
Oh, man. But they have to take that centrist position because, like, that's what gives them credibility. And they know that, man. But this is not the only thing that we witnessed where we realized, yeah, bro is compromised. Even when this dude was discussing Trump and Iran, you quickly realize, bro, this buddy got all the right opinions, man, for that $7,000 check, bro.
But clearly Israel wanted this.
Israel has its own motivations, I think. I think all the evidence shows that Trump is his own man and he is the president.
Which just doesn't
Bruh.
What?
make any sense to me unless we're acting on someone else's interests, like particularly Israel's interest. Like if they had supposedly dismantled their chances of making a nuclear bomb, what, if anything, makes sense to you about this attack in Iran?
I mean, I think the president is... There's been some, Rubio said something about how, we had to act because we knew that Israel was going to act anyway. And I think people interpreted it, and then Netanyahu was in the White House a lot. I think this...
So if that's what Marco Rubio said, and he did in fact say that, that tells you who's leading the pack. Israel. Well, Israel was going to act anyway, so we just went ahead and acted on their behalf because we knew that if they acted, then we would be dragged into it anyway, so we just went ahead and acted with them. So who's calling the shots if Trump is his own man? You see how these fucking buffoons contradict themselves? It doesn't make sense.
President has shown, whether you like him or not, and there's certainly things that I'm unhappy about and have criticized, but I think Trump is in charge. Like, he's making these decisions. There's nobody behind him. There's nobody pulling for all of that. The Russians or whoever, or these now the Israelis. It's just he's clearly,
unless we're acting on someone else's interests, like particularly Israel's interests, just didn't make any sense to me. Like if they had supposedly dismantled their chances of making a nuclear bomb, whether or not that's true,
no, it's not whether or not that's true. That's what they said. That's what they put out. They put out in the media last year. They said we dismantled their whole nuclear capabilities last year. They said that. And I'm gonna drop the information while I'm recording this video. I'm gonna put it up so everybody can see it.
Are you concerned that they may have moved enriched uranium before these strikes took place? How would you describe their nuclear program today?
Well, they don't have a nuclear. It was obliterated. It was those B-2 pilots and other things. We had the Tomahawks, 30 Tomahawks coming in from submarines too, but it was complete and total obliteration. And the Atomic Energy Commission announced that not so long ago because CNN gave some fake news. Maybe the attack wasn't that devastating. It turned out that it was, and now everybody sees it. I'm not concerned at all, and I don't think they want to do it. I think they played that game. I think Iran is going to be a country that wants to get back into the world of good economies.
Have they shown you any signs that they are open to diplomacy?
Yes, they have. They have.
Any examples?
I don't want to do that, but I will tell you that we talk. And the last thing they're going to do is get into the nuclear world again, because look what it's gotten them. And I would just have to do it again. Now, maybe if they want to wait out 3.5 years, who knows who's coming next. But they know that they're not going to be able to do it, and they can't do it. And I don't think they want to do it. They've just gone through it. They've been building that for years. This is going on. We looked at that attack for 22 years. The pilots of the B-2s came to the Oval Office because I wanted to see them and, give them medals and things. And we also had mechanics, and we had a lot of people involved because it was a perfect operation, incredible operation. And the pilots came in, they said, sir, we've planned that attack, and our predecessors, that are older now pilots, but we planned that attack for 22 years. 3 times a year we planned it. We practiced that attack, but we never had a president that would allow us to do it. And if I didn't allow them to do it, Iran would have a nuclear weapon, I think, within 4 to 5 weeks from that time. And it would be a very different discussion we'd be having. And it would be certainly, you wouldn't have this because nobody would have done it, number one. And if they did do it, you'd have this terrible dark cloud hanging over Israel. Right now, you really have freedom in the Middle East, if you think about it, because the bully of the Middle East has been taken down. And I think the bully of the Middle East may very well turn out to be a very productive partner for a lot of other countries. Much different than what they, look what that got them. Look what the big military experience got them. They got blasted. But the biggest event was when we took out their nuclear capability, because it put them in a very much different position.
Have you spoken to the country's leadership since then?
Yes.
The president?
I don't want to say who, but we speak to him, yeah, quite often, actually.
Yeah. They said last year we have bombed Iran's nuclear whatever bunkers or whatever, and we totally dismantled their ability to produce nuclear weapons. They said that last year. Now you come around to 2026 and you start a whole war based on the fact that you don't want them to have the capabilities of producing a nuke.
He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying! He's lying!
It's so hard to know.
He was unsatisfied, and just like he was like, I'm not getting anywhere in these negotiations, and I'm going to replace the person I'm negotiating with. It's just, turn over the table, like change things up. You're not getting anywhere, and you could say he was too impatient. Their view was the Democrats were too patient with Iran. They kept trying with Iran.
Yo, anytime these dudes start squirming, they always go back to Old Faithful, which is turning the tables on the Democrats. Every freaking time. It never fails. Listen, when the fire gets too hot, bring up the Democrats. Bring up Biden. Bring up Obama. Every freaking time.
Weren't giving them what they wanted. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you are.
I think that's what explains it. They haven't done a very good job explaining it, because I think that it just sounds to some extent like what it is, which is that
that is bullshit. Right? It sounds just exactly like what it is. It's bullshit, bro. You listen. I don't know who allegedly paid you, but they need to get their money back. They need to get their money back, because I'm not even in the geopolitical realm. I'm a blue collar, former soldier, former officer, and I can cut through this shit with a butter knife. Sitting right here. You got to do better. Israel, whoever, if you paid this guy, y'all got to do better.
They're acting without. They're sort of like, well, does it result in regime change in Iran? We don't know. They might say that we want that or whatever, but that's not ultimately. They're not acting on the basis of achieving regime change.
What just seems so insane.
How are they not acting on the basis of achieving regime change when that's what Trump said? This is what I'm saying. Like, this is a clusterfuck, bro.
Based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel
new
betrayed,
wars,
right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Well, but he said he's against endless wars.
Bruh.
Well, they're
running
all,
against endless wars.
listen, man,
During this entire podcast, you slowly see Joe Rogan's enthusiasm kind of just go out of his body. He was really excited to talk to this dude, and by the end, he realized, man, buddy compromised, man. Yo, if you can't even admit that the United States is going to war with Iran because of Israel, if you can't admit that, bruh, when the literal United States have already admitted it themselves, then what are we talking about here, right? Like, you're clearly on somebody's payroll. But let me know in the comment section what.
Listen, man. Oh, bro, that was bad. That was bad. It's time for me to call it a night. Shout out to Poetic Flacco for the content, man. I saw that clip earlier, and I wanted to react to it anyway, so I appreciate him putting it together so, we can kind of go through it at the same time, man. But salute to Joe Rogan for finally waking up, man, and realizing that they playing with it. They playing in your face, homie. They playing in your face, and you have too much influence. You know, for Joe Rogan is pretty much like your favorite podcaster. You know what I'm saying? So for people to come on his platform and to be exposed to his audience of millions of subscribers and listeners, and play those type of dirty games of word schematics and lies, that was terrible. That was terrible. But I don't know, man. I think I said enough. Y'all tell me what y'all think. If you like this video, please hit the like button, man. I'm trying to grow my platform and become more consistent with doing these reactions. There's a lot going on in the world. Before I end this video, I want to say to all the soldiers who are subjected to going to war for this bullshit, I'm sorry. I've been there. I did multiple tours in Iraq, and I know what it's like. And I pray for you. Pray for your safe return. I know for the most part, you're just following orders, and you're trying, you join the military to get out of your situation and provide for your family and make something out of your life. Maybe college wasn't for you. Like, I'm gonna do another video on that, man. But I get it, yo. I pray for you guys. I love you guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let me know what you think about this mess right here that we just went through. And I'll catch y'all on the next video, man. Love y'all. One.
I came from the bottom, I grew up with roaches and mice. And they threw a party as soon as we turned out the lights. I ain't have a job, but my man had an awesome wife.